We're back with another pod.
This one's all about how we grew our bards.
Oh.
Snap.
Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Mikey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really well, thanks. As if we haven't spent all day together.
We've just finished a massive argument.
Let's check
you
in.
stupid person. Then. Yeah.
You doing good?
I'm good. Yeah. I'm feeling good. Feeling positive. Feeling
Good.
Good day. Good day.
How was your gym session today?
Great gym session today. Fantastic. Lots of. It was a cardio session today. So. I was just on the cross trainer, 35 minutes in and out. It was good.
Lovely.
Yeah, it was good.
Do you like the cross trainer?
It's definitely it's low impact, which is good, and because that's one of the big things with people that say they run, years later, their knees or their hips will give out. So cross trainer is good because it just there's cushion, so you don't. I mean, you probably do have to worry about some wear and tear, but not to the same level of if you're running and you're a heavy runner. And I know people who are a bit older and they've had like knee replacements and hip replacements and things like that. So hopefully that's just something there that just prohibits that a bit. But yeah, how was your gym session?
Nice.
You did. It was back and buys today.
It was back and buys today, which
Nice.
I really enjoy. I do really enjoy doing back, especially. It's I just genuinely find the movements fun. Like, there's something about them I just enjoy. And so, yeah, I did, some pull-ups, assisted. Obviously, I'm still working towards getting my first unassisted pull-up.
Still good, though. Still very good.
Oh, yeah. But, they're just, they're so humbling and tiresome. But I do them first, get them out of the way. Then what did I do? I did some seated like rows, where you pull it back like that,
very
like
good.
Squeeze at the back.
Very good.
Some lat pull downs with that the hinge in the hips, and then the squeeze, which all pretty much do your back and some arms, like biceps and triceps. But then I just did some bicep curls.
Nice.
To finish her off. So you kind of start big and then hone in on the muscle groups as you go.
Very nice. But
it was really good, thanks.
Nice. Yeah, you look like you were killing it. I kept looking over from the cross trainer and seeing you.
So tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about our sort of fitness journey. I don't know why I put like little things on it, because it is a fitness journey, but I guess for some reason that phrase sounds so like
journey gets thrown about these days, doesn't it? It has
everything's a journey.
It has the potential to have quite a airy sort of like, where are we going? Like everything's a journey, and it's like but then what is actually a journey? And what is just travel? Just doing
things like. So this is going to be about us, our history and relationship and experience with exercise, including maybe we could delve into a bit of our was exercise part of our childhood? When did we get into fitness? Our past experiences, different sports and exercises that we've done,
and perhaps more importantly for people that are listening, how you can start off very small. You can start off with some very basic things, because at the end of the day, it's like I feel like no matter what your circumstances, exercise is always one of those things that you should get in.
It's such a priority,
it has to be, really. And
it's such a shame that it's just not for so many people. Like, I understand why, but it's like, it's such a shame that it's not pushed on everybody in like a cultural way.
I know, and I know there'll be people listening, and that they might have certain things wrong with them that mean it's harder to exercise. But at the same time, I don't think that no matter whatever your circumstances are, it's an excuse not to do it, because I think it's a fundamental pillar of physical health, mental health. Just being able to adapt your body and to keep your body healthy, which is
so true.
I mean, we can talk about this a little bit later on as well, but the idea of it being like, if your body wasn't your own, right, and it was like you're borrowing that body, you wouldn't, and it was like, oh, okay, this has come brand spanking new from a factory, and you've got a 6-pack or whatever, or you've got like, you look jacked, and it's this body that you've just got has come in the most perfect form imaginable. I'd be very wary of like, right, well, I want to look after this.
Yeah.
How do I maintain it? I don't want to mess it up because I don't know who it belongs to. So what should I be putting in? What should I be, it's like if you lend a car.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be thinking, okay, well, what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to I'm just going to take a lot of drugs, smoke a lot of shit. I'm going to just, I'm going to drink myself. I'm going to not really care about, and then I'm going to make excuses. Then when someone comes back and say, what the hell happened? I'm going to be like, oh, well, I just fucking I don't know. Like, I was having a tough time. So I was just blah, blah, blah.
It's also that you only have one.
Yeah, I know.
You literally only have one body for your whole life.
Yes.
It's the only thing you'll ever know. And that can be like quite a scary concept to delve into. But then I do think it's like you've got this body.
Yeah.
If you're able to move it.
Yes, exactly.
Like, no matter what. I also don't know what ailment or something someone could have. And maybe I'm wrong about this, but I don't know what someone could have where some form of exercise isn't beneficial.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you've got no arms and legs, like, that's a really tough ride.
But there are people, there's people out there that I've seen that get out and they do stuff,
and it's like inspiring, and it's amazing when people, we've spoke about, like, we've seen people in the gym who are in, like, wheelchairs, and, it's not like, oh, well done them, because it's not like to immediately pity them as if that, people assume that people who are disabled need to be pitied, and it's like, no, they don't need to be pitied, but also how inspiring to people.
But it's like, I feel like they should be championed way more so. Because they've got disadvantages, and that's the case. We, in some degree, we all have certain disadvantages.
That's true.
You might be, or you might not. You might be totally healthy. You've got nothing wrong with you, and you might be. That's great. I definitely feel like I've got disadvantages, not to the same level of someone who is in a wheelchair or who's missing a limb. But I think that it's just it's so much easier in today's society to just make excuses for yourself and to give every reason in the book as to why you shouldn't do it. And I think what'll be interesting is, I think that I'll probably, in this discussion, I think you'll probably be quite understanding, and you'll be quite, you can not in a wishy-washy way. I just mean, like, I feel as if that I might come at this a bit more intensely.
Get off your ass.
I
peaked really bad.
No, it's all right. That didn't peak. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. But you know what I mean? I think you'll come at this as being like, hey, try and do this and do that maybe, and I'll be like, hey, mate.
I know what you mean.
But that'll be interesting. But anyway, we can dive straight in.
So we're doing that, and we're talking about, should we just do gym and exercise today and save eating and all that as a separate episode?
Yeah, maybe we could talk about just the physical. Maybe we just talk about the physical elements. Yeah, like let's do that.
Let's get physical.
Meg and Mike.
Wanna get physical.
I'm so physical in my life. Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Physical.
So do you want to start, or should I start?
It started when I was 13.
You just chatted quite a bit. I'm gonna start for a change. Okay. I always make you start. So growing up, let's see. Exercise, fitness, not really on my radar as such. But I was a very active kid in the sense that I was constantly playing out. So I was always on my bike, on my scooter with my mates.
Lovely.
On the estate, I didn't usually stay in after school. There was always somewhere to go. I was playing in woods, just making a lot of dents, making a lot of swings.
Yeah.
Going, like, catching frogs, petting them, letting them go. No frogs were harmed in the making of this episode. But it sounds bad, like catching frogs. What were you doing with them?
People catch fish all the time.
Yeah, they usually eat them though, don't they?
Yeah, they let them go.
Oh, do they? Yeah, but they're ruined, I want to say, because they hook them,
That's
don't
even
they?
weirder.
A lot of slow death.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I would go on bike rides with my dad sometimes, and my mum and dad every now and then when I was younger, but I do have that as a memory. But I wouldn't say that physical exercise was like pushed on me or made to be like an important thing, but I guess I'm just lucky that I grew up with a few mates who were all on the same page as me. Like, we'd all just go out and play out and stuff, so a lot of running and jumping.
Childhood activities, things that you
stuff,
associate with just being out, being a healthy child that's socially healthy, socially active. That comes with physical activity.
Good. Yeah,
so that's
sure.
good. That's a good
and,
basis.
Getting like tumbling and falling and stuff was totally normal. Like, every day I was like hurting myself and getting scratched up a bit. So it wasn't like, I don't want to push my body into doing stuff. Like I didn't really have many like fears or anything. So
that's great.
I know,
That's
really
great.
good.
So that's okay. So that's like, let's say that's up until the age of what, like 11, 12, 13.
Yeah.
Then you start getting into high school.
High
Okay, things start
school.
to change.
Yeah.
Politics. You start to become a young woman.
Yeah.
You know, your body starts to change.
Yeah.
What about at that stage? What about in high school? I know you were part of some teams.
I was, yeah. So I was on the netball team at my high school pretty much all the way through. And that was probably the only sport that I did. That was the only physical exercise that I did.
Right.
I wasn't hitting the gym. I wasn't running. I wasn't really doing any other sports or PE or anything because our netball team was pretty good. So loads of PE lessons we would skip to just practice and train and stuff.
Right.
So, but I'm really lucky for that because I did love it and it was so fun. Like I didn't see it as exercise. I just saw it as like, oh, like we're on the netball team. And it was just me and most of my friends were on the team, so
that's cool. Well,
you
were the popular kids, weren't you? You were the popular girls.
Well,
you'd have been the girls that would have eaten me alive if we'd have been at the same school.
That, I guess in a way, but we were a really big friend group, and we were all kind of like high achievers, though. You know, like we were all like, head girl, head of form, like getting really pretty good grades and stuff, netball team, extracurricular activities and stuff.
And you were just popular as well, which was a bonus.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
No, do you not like that?
No, I guess like, you know, stereotypically you'd think that was bad, but I do think our whole school in general was very like well oiled together. Everyone kind of got on.
Yeah.
There was no big you know, it wasn't like Sticks to Status Quo, High School Musical 1 or anything like that. Nobody like only had one little friend group. Everyone was quite friendly with each other.
That's cool. That's
good.
Okay.
So yeah, high school and then college, it pretty much dropped to zero. I wasn't doing any activity or anything in college, like physical activity.
Well, I'm not sure about that.
Why does it always get dirty?
Hang on, you made it dirty last time.
No, I did. Yeah, I did.
I wasn't making it dirty. I was just saying. I was just making a sneaky remark. As well, to, you know, we met. So
we obviously met in college, so you know, do with that what you will. So yeah, but no real activity. Like, wasn't really doing any exercise, or I wasn't cautious about my fitness or anything like that. And then it pretty much stayed that way. And then
there's uni.
Yes, same. Did not really do much exercise. I've had bouts of being consistent with the gym over the past, 5 or so years, where I might go once or twice a week for a week or two, and then be like, oh well, it just never stuck. And I was only ever doing cardio. Never lifted weights. Never ran. Got into a bit of tennis over lockdown just because, what else was there to do? So, but that was fun. I enjoyed that. And I enjoy, like, competitive sports.
You are very competitive.
I am
very competitive. In a good way, in a healthy way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like, I want to win. And the feeling of not being the winner or not feeling the feeling of winning is like, it really grates me.
Yeah.
But okay. That's pretty much up to, I only really consider myself being serious about fitness or training or my health really consistently now for the past year. I think it's been
you say about 2 years?
I think it's only one for me.
Really?
I remember it was about this time last year that I started running with Liv. Mike's sister and me used to go on runs together.
Was that only a year? It feels like it's been way longer.
February last year, we started. And it was around this time.
God.
And I've got an actual Instagram story from a year ago in April.
Yeah.
Saying, this is my first month of going to the gym like 4 to 5 times a week.
That's amazing.
So I'm pretty much coming up to my year anniversary now of being consistent with the gym. Lifting weights
very
and
cool.
Training and running. And
you have been sticking to it every single day. You'll have your rest days.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You have rest days. And
when you're in the gym, you are there. There's no phone. You are just you're getting involved. You're lifting heavy. Yeah. You're doing your sets. You're clocking in. It's different. It's like you're not passively engaging. You're going there and you're like, this is my time. Yeah. Like, this is my hour.
Yeah.
I'm at the gym. This is for me now.
Yeah.
So do you think maybe it'd be a good idea if I just give a quick synopsis then of my think, and then we'll get to the point where we
like a year or so. Yeah, go on.
Okay,
you go into your like, you know, what was childhood like for you in terms of.
I'll try and sum up quickly because I know that we've talked about my childhood in the sense that I was a big kid. When I was in high school, I got to about 17 stone, which was like pretty bad. That was pretty bad, and I've always had struggled with my food and my weight. You know, luckily I've not been sort of cursed with like alcohol or substance abuse or any of those other things, but food is, and my weight's always fluctuated. So in school, not active at all. Dad was a rugby coach. He coached the Widnes rugby team, which was big. Dad was known around town as Tank, so I literally had big shoes to fill. And he tried to get me to start up at the Wids once. The Wids is just the name of the Widnes Rugby Union. And I remember like I was there with a bunch of other kids, and it was like it was just terrible. I remember being like,
you didn't take to it.
Well, it was this idea, right, of like these kids all know what they're doing. I get thrown in because my dad's now just turned up, and so for some other context, my mum and my dad would be very on and off, very their relationship was always on the rocks. So I wouldn't see my dad for loads of months, and then I'd see him again, and he'd just be like, right, get your clothes on, we're going to rugby. And I'd be like, well, I fucking don't think so. I want to stay here and play my guitar, but I'm like 13, so I don't have a choice. So we'd rock up at the Wids. There's all these lads that they've been there for years. They're friendly. They've got the banter. They know what banter is.
Yeah.
I've got no,
you don't know what banter is at that point.
No idea of banter. You know what I mean? You're all right, mate. You bloody soppy bollocks. And I'm like, I've not got soppy bollocks. Like no idea of how to engage.
Why is it because just very quickly, I'd turn up to netball practice and they'd be like, hey team, hey squad, let's go, let's do this. But why do boys turn up to stuff and they just call each other nasty names? It's so sad.
You got me, mate. You got me. And it was rugby, so there'd be moments where like you're
getting called girls and stuff, like, oh, you bunch of girls.
More, it was like, I remember they said so for the warm up, the first and last session I ever went to, they said the warm up was you got to run around this field. So I'm like, I've got no level of fitness. Yeah. I've never ran. My dad is also there, so he's watching, and I'm like, this is fucking terrible. And then so they're all running laps, and I'm at the back, and they shout, I can hear them like they all jog it in to the jog it in, lads. So they're all like fucking like 2 miles ahead of me, and then McD, why are you running so slow? I don't know, just like
that's so harmful.
Yeah, like very toxic, very toxic. And then there's the whole like. They're trying to get me to throw a ball. I don't know how to throw the ball. Do you know how to pick up a ball? It's like, no, mate, because I'm fucking brand new and I don't know what I'm Dad's looking at me just doing this.
No.
So I remember, like, finish that. I'm not doing that. You can fuck that off. And then all throughout high school, then, didn't do anything sporty, really. And then it got to a point where that was it. And I got to a point in college. Everyone knows the college story. Why are you eating your fucking sausage rolls? And then said to my dad, can I get a gym membership, Dad? I'm serious about losing weight. I was about 17 stone at this point.
How old?
16, 17. 16 to going on 17, first year of college. Said to my dad, can I get a gym membership, please? I feel very strongly about losing some weight. I'm starting to stink, and things are starting to orbit around me. And dad said no. He was like, and I love my dad, but I'm being honest, he said no. He was like, no, you'll never do it. I'm not paying for a membership, you'll never lose the weight. So I was like, right, fucking nice one, Shagger, top lad. Mum, so I went to my mum and I was like, Mum, can you pay for my membership at the gym in our local area? And she was like, yeah, of course. So
solid Jane,
1-0 to Jane, and and no, they're both great. And then so she got me the membership, and then I just started going every night. I hit it hard. I basically went from overindulging every night to just totally flipping it. I sort of went the other way, where then I got a taste for it. I was there every day, didn't have a day off, ate very minimal. And then as a result, I got down to malnourished weight. I think I got to borderline,
very skinny when I met you.
Borderline, maybe even anorexic, to the point where I think I was like 8 stone at one point, which is very 8.5 stone.
Well, anorexia though, that's like it's almost mental though, where you
Well, I think there was an element of that with me.
really where you saw like how skinny you were and you were like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, and I
really?
didn't like I wouldn't eat. I just wouldn't eat. There'd be moments where like they'd be, I'd just eat soup, and people would say, "Have you eaten?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I've just eaten," and I'd be like, "I've not eaten anything all day." So I do borderline. I don't think it was fully anorexic, but there was definitely
some tendencies there.
Yeah.
Oh, sweetie.
But then got to about a healthy weight, maybe in my early 20s.
What would you do at the gym when you'd go?
Oh, it was usually strictly cardio. So I would do HIIT workouts,
cross trainers,
45 minutes, like just on there, just killing it. I'd do like a 10-minute warm up, 30 seconds blast, 1 minute off, 30-second blast for about 45 minutes.
And then you just like call it there and head home.
Call it. Sometimes I do a weight circuit, but not really. It was mainly I was more obsessed with losing the weight.
Yeah.
And once when you're 17 stone, you get to 13 stone and you think, fucking hell, like I look all right here. And then you get to 12, 11, 10.
So you were 17 stone at 16, and then I met you at 17. How much did you not to go into weight, but how much did you lose?
No, I think by the time I met you, I'd lost about 7 stone. So I'd lost. So in a year, I'd lost about.
Lighter than what I am now, then.
Yeah, but you remember what I was like? I was
skinny,
I was very skinny. There was nothing of me.
Wow.
Didn't eat.
So that's in the space of how long?
A year, about.
Yeah.
From let's say October to the following October, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm not that was me at an extreme. That's not me condoning that, because I had a lot of, I started to develop migraines. I started to develop, low key eating disorders where I'd feel nauseous to eat and stuff. So there was all this other horrible stuff that was attached to that. Also, I wasn't looking after myself. I was smoking a lot. I was drinking. I was smoking part and stuff. Just wasn't looking after myself. So I sort of went the other way. And then getting into uni, when I got into uni, but then I did balance out. It got to a point where I was going back to the gym and I was just having a nice balance with it. I was eating normal. I got to a healthy weight, about 11 stone. In uni, didn't really go that much because it was like finding a new gym. We'd moved out of Widnes. I was more focused on other things at uni. So didn't go to the gym that much, did we, in uni?
No, on and off every now and then, didn't we? Like, I remember we used to go at like 6 o'clock or something and just do like cardio.
Yeah, we did go to the gym, but it wasn't. I feel as if that we just didn't really hold ourselves
seriously. Wouldn't even think about lifting weights or anything. I was like, oh no, like don't be silly. Like that whole area is just off limits to me. And it's Yeah. So we didn't do that.
But then I got in the middle of uni. I got I had a vertigo problem. I had like a balance and vertigo problem. Still have it to this day, but just learned to manage it. But so I didn't go to the gym for a long time, and I started to put weight back on because I was comfort eating and eating because I was sad, and I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I was in a bit of a dark place. Wasn't going to the gym. I was eating crap all the time. And then I got back up to maybe like 15 stone, I think it was. Yeah, when I was pretty bad. And now I'm back, and then shook that off. Started about 2 years.
Which was amazing of you to do, because I know how rough that couple of years were.
Yeah, it was a rough couple of years, and especially like when you're doing workouts and running and going to the gym, but you've also got, say, coordination / balance problems. That's can be tricky. But it's like doing bench press and stuff. Even now, I still have to sort of be mindful of like just can't whip my head up and be like running around the place. But still do it. So yeah, and then I think after that was around like 22, 23, 27 now. So then maybe I got to like 25, 26, and I was like, this is not sustainable. Like I'm just eating shit all the time. I'm not running. I'm not doing anything active. I've put on weight.
And there was lockdown.
Not
that like we were going to the gym before lockdown and we were like, oh God, like we can't go to the gym because it's short. But we'd play a bit of tennis, but wouldn't really run.
Nothing to the point though where it was like
skateboarding. We got into skateboarding briefly in lockdown.
Such an arsehole.
That was a fun little project.
You saved me that day. I tried to go down that little ramp, and you were there. I think I would have seriously hurt myself if you hadn't
think
been
you would
there.
have, yeah. Like you were trying to drop in to a very small, like drop in bit,
But I was clearly leaning back, so I think
and
if
you'd
I'd
never
have hit
done
my
it before, and you probably just got a bit overconfident, and
yeah
then I remember you had hold of my hand as you went down, but
yeah
then lost your balance, like your whole weight was on my hand.
yeah.
But
Sorry,
I
honey.
did save you.
You
It's
did
all
say
good.
you did save me,
I was there for you.
which I'm very grateful for. And then that pretty much takes us back to this to where you were. So it's like after lockdown, we're out of uni, we're sort of doing our own thing, and I think it got to a point where I think I'd cancelled my membership, and then I kicked it back up again. This is just a pure gym. So all throughout uni, that membership was sort of on and off. Then it was cancelled, and then I started it back up, and I think I started to go, and I started to run because I was like, I need to, something has to change here. I think a lot of the time people will get to that breaking point maybe where they're like, my life is just upside down. I need to start changing it. And I think for me that was that thing of like, I'm just going to try and implement some exercise.
Yeah.
So started to run. Then I started to I went back to the gym. Started to integrate weight training into the gym. And then I feel like I've been doing that for maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, you were
closer to 2 years.
You were more on the gym train than I was at the beginning. I was just doing light jogs with walking and stuff. Just
still good though. Still really good.
Oh yeah, still good. It was great. Like me and my friend Liv would go, and we'd have like a route that we'd take where there'd be like running and some walking, and then some, we'd like go up steps, and there'd be like a hill and all things like that. So we'd do that together, and it felt so much easier having someone there to like keep you accountable, like egg you on, and for you to feel like you want to egg them on as well. You'd be running, keep going, and then you'd struggle, and they'd be like, no, come on, like you can do it. And that's maybe one first little piece of advice, even, or anything for anyone listening that wants to be more active. It's just like, get the cronies in on it, because having a friend or making some friends via a form of exercise from a sport, it's just such a game changer, because you've got someone there then that can keep you accountable, keep you motivated.
Yeah.
You don't have to, because it's hard to rely on your own motivation. But then if someone else is like, oh, you're turning up to the run this morning, you're like, no.
Well, that is very interesting that you say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I always felt the polar opposite.
You've never been like that, have you? But it was defo nice for me to get into that with Liv. And then obviously then coming in the gym and having you with me to like walk me through some moves, show me some exercises and stuff.
And that's not to me say like don't I think just my only like caveat to that would be that like going with people is good. It's great, but it's like we were talking about with like the the idea of like going on holiday with people. It's like that there's an element of like, if you say to someone, let's start it, let's do it, and then you can quite, if you're both at the same starting point, you can quite easily be each other's worst enemies, in the sense where you say, are we really going to do that? And the other person says, I don't know,
that's
probably
so
not.
True. That's the other side of the coin, isn't it? Where if you're almost relying on someone else to like keep going, and then you're like you're not really showing the like determination there, you're just sort of trailing on someone else's. And if they say, oh no, I'm not going today because I'm ill, you've got to then go, I've still got to go, you know what I mean? You've got to be able to, but I do think that comes with time. You know what I mean? Having multiple people, or even like, even if just you're a bit shy or embarrassed to go on a run on your own, you don't even need a gym membership. You're just a bit nervous to go on a run on your own, because you think, when you first start running, you think everyone's looking at you. You're like, oh, bloody hell, I don't want to run there, and a bit self-conscious. But, you find a few mates to run with, and suddenly it's like, oh, this suddenly feels better. But obviously, there's the other side of the coin where you've got to make sure that you're on the same page, and it's got to be positive, and it's got to be like, you've got to be the one to still turn up and push yourself.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, I think what you're saying there, like the idea of you being able to sort of find some sort of community in your health, I think that is that's great. That would be golden. To have like Girls on the Go.
I love it.
That is an amazing. An amazing thing that these women have set up, and it not only is it empowering women, but it's empowering health and community, just all amazing things, and I think that's great. And if you can if you can find people, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a local running club, by the way. That's
Girls on the you should if there's any women listening, that is 100%, you should check that out, because it's
absolutely. You're local in Liverpool. They're running long distance, short distance. Even if that's what I mean, because I never considered myself a runner. I always thought, nope, I can't run. I get out of breath. I get stitches. I'm slow. I just can't do it. But being part of that running club now since October last year has actually made me think, well, I've told myself that I'm not a runner.
Yeah.
Like, nobody ever told me that, but I'm like, I've just limited myself there, and now actually I am a runner.
Yes,
That doesn't mean I'm running 10Ks or I'm Usain Bolt, but I physically run, and I can run.
Yes,
which is nice.
Yeah, just quickly, just to circle back to the whole finding people, community sense. I think that's like a brilliant arm of health and fitness. I personally would lean more into the individual solo aspect of it, because like what you were saying before, of the idea of being like, it has to, first and foremost, it has to come from you.
Yeah, and it has to be for you.
And it has to be for you, and you have to, and not to, but I remember when I was being that kid, when I was being, you're 16, 17, you're 17 stone overweight. I remember being at the gym, and my friends were also at the gym in college. And they weren't friends, they were people I knew from the college, and they were in high school. I'd known them as well, and they were the popular kids. The kids that were in the football team, the cricket team.
Yeah.
Also kids that were in the rugby team that my dad knew, like they all knew each other. And, I remember them making jokes about me, saying stuff like, a girl came up to me once, and she was like, she was like, oh, I really don't want to hurt your feelings, but they've just said something about you. And I was like,
no way.
Yeah, and I was like,
awful.
I'm not sure I've ever told you this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then she was like, yeah, they've just said like, you better not stay on this machine too long because you're gonna break it. And I was like, but obviously, so this was one of those things where I was like, okay, so like, in those,
awful.
But at the time though, and still now, it's like, I think that I was able to develop and manifest my mindset so that anytime I heard doubt or people talking shit or people being like, he's fat or he's this or he's that or he can't do that, or that's Mike, the fat kid who plays chess in the library, who's head library assistant, I was like, yeah, like I'm just gonna push this even harder. And I think that there's an element in that in all of us where it's like there might be people listening who feel like, oh yeah, like I'll find a friend. I'll find a friend and we'll do it together.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, okay, well, look, I'll whatever. But I would say, like, it's in every single person. Because if it's in me, someone that came from 17 stone, incredibly shy, didn't have any friends at school for a couple of years, but then somehow turned it around, got very fit and healthy and developed a mindset where it's just like, I just feel like I can tackle any problem. I'll just run at it. It's like it's in everyone, and like the thing is, there is no one there that's going to be able to turn that on for you apart from you. And it's really simple. Like all you have to do is like, if you're sat there and you're thinking and you're looking around, it's like you've got fucking Domino's boxes in the corner. This is all stuff, by the way, that I've done, so this isn't like I'm not having a go at people. I've been this person. There's Domino's boxes in the corner, there's a pack of fags in the corner, you're looking for fucking little bit of pot, in your little grinder, and you're like, oh, you know what, like I fucking know I should be just not doing this. Like, I know I should be like just getting out there and doing it. Like, stop fucking waiting for someone to pull you, or stop waiting for that moment where you're like, well, I'll just fucking do it tomorrow. Like, I'm just gonna, I'm getting another fucking spliff on the go, or I'll just do. I'd be like, no. Just there's nothing stopping you from getting a pair of shorts on, getting a pair of shoes on. Bless you, honey.
Thank you.
And running 5K. And what was great? No, seriously, because I've done that, and it's like, mean. And if
you and me defo have like, I know what you mean by saying there's nothing stopping me from doing that, but I just mean like
This is what I was talking about before.
This is like the thing where I am very like, yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe I am just a bit more like a little bit more empathetic maybe than you with this thing of someone.
Yeah, probably.
You know, like I would say, if you're someone that you want to start exercising, you want to start incorporating movement and caring for your health and fitness a bit more through moving your body and getting out there. I think that if you have friends or you have people that have spoken about similar things, I think that's an amazing way to just get your foot in the door and be like, okay, we've both said we're going to do this tomorrow, right. So let's do it. But then I know what you mean, like if they say, oh no, I'm not going to do it, then you have to then decide for yourself whether you're going to just carry on what they're doing. But
now you have to work twice as hard, because now you have to be in a position where you've been let down by one of your pillars, and now you have to find it within yourself to say, well, you're not doing it. Yesterday I even wasn't going to go and do it, so now I'm going to go and do it despite. I feel like even for me, like if I turned around and you said to me like I'm not going to the gym, I would have a strong leaning to be like, yeah, let's just spend the day with each other, as opposed to being like, hang on a minute, no, like I'm going.
Well, we both have a balance with that though. I think we've, if I was, I'm not going to go to the gym today, and you're like, oh, how come? And I'm like, just don't want to.
Yeah,
you'd know
no,
that's
I know,
not
but
like good.
True, but I mean, like, generally speaking,
yeah, but like yesterday I was like, yeah, I've hit the gym really hard this week, I want to have a rest day. You're like, yeah, that's good. But I just mean like, I'm talking about and like just getting into it, or like just getting, downloading like the Couch to 5K app or something where you put your headphones on and you go and run for like 30 seconds and then walk for a minute and then run for 30 seconds and stuff. Like that sort of thing I actually think is like, you can build your confidence way easier with that, and you can build your confidence being with someone else as well.
Yes.
But I know what you mean. It's like anything. Things are sometimes easier with other people, but they have to kind of be the right people, and you have to just be responsible for yourself as well though. Like, but I do think that there's power in having people with you doing it. Like,
I hear what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I definitely hear what you're saying. I
it's
think
just like you for me though. Like, when you like get a gym membership, and I was like, nah, like don't need one. I'm running. I could do some weights at home. I can, I'm not going to do it. And you were like, well, I think you should, because you can come here. There's all the equipment. You're always saying you're going to be working out at home, and then you never do it. You turn up to the gym, everything's there for you. You go in, you put your time in. It's a designated place, space, and time for you to do it.
Well, isn't that kind of case in point though? Because like, what if I hadn't have been? Would you have? If I wasn't a gym goer and I have been doing it on and off since I was for the past 10 years, and if I hadn't have been doing it for 6 months prior, and is that a realistic thing that you would have come to me and said, it's
a good question,
let's go off our own back and purchase gym memberships and start going to the gym? I'm not sure we would have done that. I remember with Tyler, our roommate, we were sat here one night and we stayed and we had Domino's. We weighed ourselves. We were both putting weight on, and we said, tomorrow, man, let's fucking do this. And we were both so geared up, and we went. I got my gym membership. Tyler had just got the gym membership for Pure Gym. And that morning at 7:00, we went out and bought like 10 tins of tuna, 10 bags of rice, and we were like, that's all we're eating for the next week, man. And we were so on it. Then we slept from about 7 till 5. We woke up. I was like, are we gonna do this? And we ordered a Domino's that night, and we played video games all night, and we did the exact same thing. So
and I totally understand what you mean there. That's such a funny memory. I remember coming.
Do you remember that?
I remember because we used to sleep all day. By the way, like we used to sleep all day. Be awake all night, just playing video games, eating shit, and
literally we would have Domino's 3-4 nights a week, basically. Smoking, drinking. Just.
But I remember like looking in the cupboard and I was like, what the fuck is all these tins of tuna? Plain tuna as well, tuna in water.
Tuna in water.
What else?
It was just plain basmati rice.
Bags of basmati rice. tins. There was about, I'm not even joking, there was about 50 tins of beans in the cupboard that were in the cupboard until a few months ago when we did that big clear out. It's like, God, all these beans are like 2 years out of date.
Yeah, I remember.
And that's a lot for beans to go out of date.
But my point is that we, in that moment, I remember
as being...
You
make a really good point.
And I think, and this is the last bit I'll say about it, like, and then we can start actually talking about things that people can do. I think I feel more strongly about it because I think that I came from a point at that, from being 15, 16, of extreme vulnerability.
Yeah.
My home life was awful. I didn't have a social life. The friends that I did have around me were, you know, it was all, at that age, for boys in particular, it's probably a bit toxic. It's probably a bit like, look, like you're fat, you're the fat one, you'll always be fat, go and have another cream cake, all that stuff. And I think that, and my, you know, my dad didn't want to buy me a gym membership. He didn't really believe in me at the time, and I'm like, right. And then through I go to the gym, there's people there and they're making fun of me.
Yeah.
I think I had all the reasons in the book to not do it, and to be like, no, this is too hard, and this is me. And I didn't have any friends, I didn't have any people around me, I didn't have anyone really pushing me on, and I was a kid. And I still went and did it, and then I've done that continuously throughout my life. And the only reason I say that is because there'll be people there that will be just like me, and they will be like, look, like, I've been in that situation where you just get yourself into a rut. We're all human, it happens, and you just need, it's in you, it's in all of us, to just basically have that self-awareness and to be like, hang on a minute, like, I don't need someone to tell me this is bad, and I don't need someone to hold my hand. I've got that strength in me. I just need to basically have that conviction and say, let's just do it. Let's just lock in. Like, let's just go. And you'd be surprised that when you get out there and do it, and it's like you're doing it and then you finish it, how easy it actually is, and how you look back and think like, I feel so much better, and I am so much better than what I used to be. And like, not doing it, not going to the gym and working out and putting yourself through those difficult things, life is just so much harder. And I think that's maybe why I come at it at a slightly tougher perspective, because and it reflects in our relationship, because in our relationship I've always been the one that said like, let's go and do this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you're out there listening and you're more like me, where you might go like, oh yeah, like, I would like to start going to the gym, but you have just got these excuses and these reservations, and you're like, oh, and then, you know, you kind of half measure it and you're like, oh, I'll just do, you know, I'll do these like get shreddy like phone exercises, like where you follow someone bloody shoving their foot in the air for 10 minutes, and like you think, oh yeah, this is going to be dead good. Like, I remember it was during lockdown when that massive one was going round. It was like, it was some kind of shred thing. I was like, I want to do it. Yeah, but and you had to do it like every day for 30 days, and I did the first day, and then that's it. But you know, once I was like, right, I'm gonna go for a run because that's good. And I was like, Liv, come with me because that'd be good for us both. And then she did, and then suddenly then it felt so much easier to have her with me and for me to have someone there. And then we'd go in the gym and you were like, come to the gym, and I was like, oh, like, yeah, no, you're right, I'm being stubborn.
You weren't at first though, and I don't think we should. No,
that's what I mean. Like, at first I was like, no, have all these reservations. Like,
you thought you could do workouts here in the flat. You were like, no, I'll put a mat on the floor and I'll work out here. Yeah. Which is, and that's another important thing. I would say, don't like delude yourself into thinking that you will do that. Yeah. Like, I think like
it's so easily done though, isn't it?
If a meteorite hits the gym, then go and run in the park and go and do pull-ups on a tree or something. But I think the reality is for a lot of us, it's you need to segregate that part of your life and be like, not segregate. What's the word? You need to separate. Jesus. You need to separate those parts of your life and be like, when you have a gym membership, you take yourself out of your comfort zone,
of your home,
into a zone which is for you're supposed to be uncomfortable. You're supposed to be using that to grow. Yeah. So you were a bit stubborn to that at first, but then
that's what I mean. But that's because of you. Like, you were the one there that, and I'm not saying I didn't have it in me, because I obviously did, because I was the one physically there putting myself through the workouts. But having you as that voice of like, no, come on, like, keep me accountable a bit, and like be like, come on, let's do it. And now I feel like a year later, I'm like so confident that I'm like,
it's embedded.
Yeah, and I wouldn't let you fall off the wagon with it either. Do you know what I mean? If you were, oh no, I'm not gonna go, I'd be like,
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. It's one of them, but originally I wasn't that way inclined at all. I didn't have that.
And a lot of people don't have those kind of people.
So that's why I'm saying that, they don't have them, but if they, that's why I'm saying if you have people that are saying they want to do it, then starting that together.
But what if they don't?
Is great. Well, then that's when you'd have to go and do it yourself.
But that's more. I think the emphasis is more important on developing
on yourself,
that.
Yeah.
Because that's like I'm me.
Yeah.
You don't exist.
Yeah.
I'm a fat horrible mess, and my life is a mess. And I'm thinking, I need to get out there. Now I'm quite an introverted guy. I don't have loads of friends. I don't have I'm not a part of any big social circles. Who do I get on the phone to and say, let's do it? And I'm probably not going to go out. I'm not going to meet anyone at Domino's. So it's unlikely that I'm going to meet someone who's in a similar mindset. My whole thing there is being like, you have to, and that's the thing. Everyone, you have it in you, and now it's like, sometimes it's like, you need to chip away. It's buried, and you need to chip away at what your hard exterior to get into it. But everybody has that voice. Everyone, and also another good useful thing is that when you think about it in terms of like, this is me now, like I'll knock all that shit on the head, and you sort of say to your brain, that's not happening anymore. Your brain's gonna fight back really hard. That dopamine you've been giving yourself, that's gonna come back real hard. So if you look at it and just say like, just think about it in basic terms. You get up, right? When you get up, the first thing you do, you go to the gym. It's as simple as that. You get up, there's no compromise. You get up, you go to the gym, you do it. There's no compromise, Or you run, There's never a reason, unless you are literally on death's door and it's coming out of both ends. There is no reason why you don't do it. Yeah. And you don't think about tomorrow. You don't think about the week ahead. You don't think about the month.
Like, it's going to be this now for the next few days or few weeks or whatever it is. Like, you just have to take it day at a time.
And I promise anyone, if you get on the scale on Monday morning and you look at the scale and you go, right, and then you do a whole week where you go to the gym, you exercise, more importantly, you get your nutrition right, but we can talk about that in another episode. And you come back the next week and you look at yourself and it's like, I've just lost like 5-6 pounds. I can see it. I can feel it. Mentally, physically, I can feel the change. You won't need any of these shitty little get skinny in 4 days, or you won't need any of that bollocks. Something will happen in your mind and you'll have sort of detoxed yourself inadvertently from doing that. It will just click and you'll just do it, and it's so easy. And I get though that initial first step, it's like the brain and the body is like, it's hanging on for dear life to say, don't go through stress, because it's gonna suck. It's
crazy to remember what that was like though, because now my brain has like gotten so used to going to the gym, putting myself through exercises, putting myself through physical challenges, that I don't even, not to like toot my own horn, but I don't even register it as bad anymore. I feel like I thrive in it,
1,000%,
which is unreal, because that was
1,000%.
never ever me. But going the gym now for like a year has like seriously changed my life, like in every way.
And you're literally on, like, you're still that same beautiful woman that I met when I was a kid.
Thanks.
But
I'm still me, but
now it's like I look
still me.
We're still here. We're still the same.
Still us.
A couple of weeks ago, we did. This is another interesting story. You were doing the building up to a 5K run.
Yeah, I was.
And I remember, and even now, because I feel, and I don't mean to like, I'm not trying to paint you in this way where it's like you need help, or you're you're so feeble-minded that you need someone to step in.
I accept that I do actually but I'm very motivated by that kind of encouragement and support. Like, it's like
a bluntness, isn't it? It's like there's no reason why we can't do this.
Yeah.
And you wanted to run a 5K, so at Christmas, it was like Christmas Day, wasn't it?
Christmas Day we went and ran. No, it was New Year's Day. Yeah, Christmas Day we went for a run, but then New Year's Day
we started properly.
I think I ran like 3.5K for the first time without stopping.
3.5K without stopping. That, to me, who's done it a couple of times, was not that much of a big deal. And you were saying, I want and I've ran more than you, so I know what I'm, I can just run a bit more. And you were like, oh well, I want to build up to a 5k. Now that's not me. The couch to 5k thing is brilliant. I think that's a great incentive. Of course, there'll be people out there which is like, yeah, take it moderately, take it at a moderate pace. Like that's great. Is if you know that you're going to stick to that and it's working for you, awesome. But you said I wanted to do a 5k, and I said let's just go and do a 5k. And you, and even then, even now after a year,
shut the hell up.
Yeah, you literally,
That's pretty much my reaction. But
and you've done this before.
Imagine that, but way less playful and way more stubborn, angry.
And you've done this before, and this happens a lot with us in our back to back. You'll back and forth. I will say let's go and do it, and you'll say no. Here's the reasons why. And again, I'm not trying to paint you out.
No,
I'm just,
everything you're saying is exactly right.
Because I do this in other areas of my life where you're able to pick me up, like. But I said, let's go do it. And you said, no, I can't do it. And I was like, why? You're like, it's not safe. I want to build myself up to that 5k. Like, it's not safe. It's not safe to bring our vegetables here. And there was all these reasons, you were like, oh no, like, I don't want to push it. I want to build up to it naturally. Those are the things that I've set in my mind. You thought that they were milestones, whereas they were actually just barriers.
They actually were just me thinking that I couldn't possibly do that.
Right.
Which is, a thing of like, I've just put in these limits on yourself. Like, who told you can't go and do that? Like, who said that you can't do that? And if you go out and try, it's like you immediately done it, even if, like, you know what I mean? There's no failure. Like,
but that was the thing, because I said, let's just go out and run.
Yeah.
Let's just go and run.
And I was just sort of following you.
And we won't put any 3k, 4k, 5k mark. We won't put any milestones, so it's like, this is where we stop. And then we went out and did it. You ran the 5k, and not only that, you sprinted the last like couple of I don't know, 100 meters or so. You sprinted past me. You were running past me because of how much energy you had. And then it was like, so you just did that. Like, that took absolutely
something that I thought was going to take a few more weeks at least to like build up to. But
and that's
that was a huge confidence builder. Like, it really like running. I love going to the gym and I love doing weight training. That's what I think I really love. But since starting running now for 3 or 4, more like 5 or 6 months, running on and off small distances, that has taught me so much about myself and how much I actually limit myself and say. Like, it proves to me that I can do so much more than I think I can.
Yeah.
Like, because running is such a mental battle for me. It's not even... It's the physical toll, of like getting a bit out of breath and all my legs hurt. But it's the noggin. It's the voice.
Well, it's always the noggin.
You can't do this. Think of how much further you've got to go. You're not going to make it. You want to stop. Wouldn't it be so nice to stop? And that's like the real battle to overcome. Which could be said for any exercise, like, unless, like I say, like, you've got no arms or legs, or you have major ailments that are an obstacle for you. But the vast majority of people that just go, oh yeah, like, I want to, maybe it's about losing a bit of weight, maybe it's about wanting to just feel fitter, and you sleep better, you're hungrier, but for like good
nutritious food,
like nobody. I mean, I run and then go and get a croissant, but I mean, like,
sometimes you don't do that all. That's like a Sunday treat.
Not every single run. It's like, where's the pastries?
Even more so if you do have both your arms and legs and you don't have any physical ailments, which a lot of us don't.
Are fortunate enough to have our arms and legs.
And you kind of owe it to yourself, and if not to yourself, you owe it to the people that you see that are in the gym in wheelchairs, and the people that do have, like, they might have a leg missing and they might be still doing exercise and stuff. It's like, how selfish can you be that there are people like that out there doing it, who would probably give anything to be able to just go for a run.
Think about that when you're running, you're feeling out of breath and you're like, oh, this sucks. But then you're like, God, like, how lucky am I that I'm able to run and I have lung capacity.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think that's like the mentality shift, isn't it? And you say it a lot to me. It's like, oh, don't think like you have to go and do this, like you have to go and do that. It's like, no, you get to go and
you
do
get
this.
to go and do that. Like, you
Like,
get to go and put yourself through that.
That's what makes it feel so positive as well. Like, going to the gym and running is feeling like, yeah, okay, some days it feels more taxing than others, and some days it's, you know, the energy's low or your mindset's not there, but you'll never leave the session or something and going like, oh yeah, I really regret that, or that didn't work out, because it's always something. It's always just showing up. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like you see that as a privilege. Like, you get to go and run, or go and do a gym exercise, or go and play like the sport that you get to do. And I think when your mindset can shift to seeing it like that, you're like, this is a blessing. Like, this is a blessing. That's, you know.
I also don't get this thing where it's like, especially as well, if you have a spouse and a partner, if you've got someone in your life that you really care about, really really love, properly love, and she's proper fit, innit? If you've got someone in your life that you properly love, and it's not that, like, you know, it's, you know, just fucking shitty half love where it's like, it's not really, it's like, oh, you live with them, and you know, if you really feel like you love that person, I have no idea why you're not trying to set an example. And I think about that about us all the time. I'm like, I'm in a relationship. I love this person. I want the absolute best for this person. I want them to thrive, have the best life ever. And it's like, what am I doing that they're looking at and feeling inspired by? Well, you know what I'm doing? I'm sat with a bag of Reese's Pieces watching I'm a Celebrity with my hand down my pants, and I can't get an erection because I've got too much salt in my blood, and like, you know, and I'm hit. It's all right though. I'm seeing the doctors more for Viagra, and I've got a week off coming up. It's like, that fucking sucks. Like, what is inspiring about that? And it's like, how dare you? Like, you've got this potential where you could be out and be like, your partner could be looking at you and being like, what the fuck? What has gotten into you? Like, you are just killing it. You're waking up early. You're running. You're lifting weights. You're inspiring me. You're inspiring people. You're bettering yourself. You're talking to you. And it's like that thing of giving yourself self-love. You know, you see these people that are jacked, and it's like, it's not about the fact that they're jacked. It's about the fact that they're disciplining themselves to so much, which is, you know, that old thing of discipline is the highest form of self-love. I think that's true.
That's so true. It obviously can turn a bit toxic with things like that, but I think with the right balance, if you're respecting yourself in that way, then it's like, you're talking to yourself in a positive way, and you're thinking about things as if, I'm going to do this for myself. And then you have someone that you're with, or even like friends or something that you have, and you know, you're there, and you're getting up, you're hitting the gym, you're eating well, you're living really well, and it's like, you know, that will tell you if you've got the right people in your life, because the right friends will go, I want a piece of that. I'm gonna come to the gym. That's great. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, can I come to the gym with you? Like, oh, like, tell me what you had for tea, or stuff like that. And then like the wrong people will be like, oh, fucking hell, who do you think you are? Or like,
you've changed. You're gym head now. You're a gym head now. You're at the gym lifting weight. You know,
changed.
Yeah, no. And look, if you're hanging out with people like that, you need to fucking cut that in the bud, because they'll just, they will just drain. They will just they will change your life if you stick around with those people.
Drain you like a can of tuna.
Oh, nice analogy.
Thanks.
But you know, I think that it's, you know, the idea of like, you want to be setting the best example, and then vice versa, you want to see that reflected in your partner. You want them to be bringing you up. You want them to be protecting you by saying like, no, don't just, what are you doing on the couch? And it's like, you know, get up, like, come on, we you know, we go to the gym, we go and work out. And it's not just about going to the gym. It's like,
and you notice how not once in this whole podcast we've talked about like, oh, it's to look this way. It's all about like to feel a certain way.
Oh no, it's totally.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
you looking. It's like the best inadvertent knock-on effect.
Oh yeah, it's just a knock-on. Yeah, it's
that's
just
all
like
it is.
A really good side effect, but it has to be about wanting to feel better and live better, and it affects everything. Like the domino effect literally never stops. Of like sleeping better.
That's it.
Eating better, your mood's better, you're feeling strong. You're feeling confident. You're feeling like you can take on challenges, because
that's
like
it.
you always say, like, you know, you go to the gym and you put in a hard workout, it's like the rest of the day is like it's yours.
It's a piece of piss.
And it's easy.
And you think, and like this has happened to me so many times. I get to the gym, I do it, and people think that you're talking about the gym. It's so funny. It's actually got nothing to do with the gym, and it's got it does. It's about 1% actually turning up to the gym.
Yeah.
If you think about it like this, you go to the gym, you get up. You don't want to get out of your warm bed, but you do. You don't want to get into clothing which is usually, breathable, and we're in the UK, so we have to walk in the rain, the sleet, the snow, the whatever it is, the really cold conditions. You don't want to do that. You walk to the gym, you get into the gym, you do a warm up. You don't really want to do that either, because you just want to get straight to lifting the weight.
Yeah, you want to get it over
You want to just get it over with. You lift the weight, it's horrible, sucks. You just want to, you feel like you're getting crushed, you're in pain, it's like this, it's tough stuff.
This is tiring.
Then you do it, you finish, that's an hour, 45 minutes. Now you're sore, you go out, you continue, you do your walk again, it's cold, it's blistering, you've not even started your work day yet. You get home, you get straight into a cold shower, or you do it beforehand. That in itself is difficult.
That's a whole other thing, yeah.
And then you eat something which is like, it's nutritious, it's protein based. That
sounds shit.
That sounds it does. But then think about what you've just done within about an hour 30 of your day, and think about you've done all that. So now you're in a situation where you've got a task that's unrelated to the gym, and it's difficult. So what do you do now? You've got a task that's difficult. I don't know how to get around that problem. I don't really want to do it. It's difficult. Well, I'll fuck it off and go and eat some donuts.
Yeah.
Or do you say, hang on a minute, like, this is difficult, but maybe there's a way I can work through it. Maybe there's a way that I can work around it, because I've already done the stuff that's pretty hard throughout my day.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just lean into this, and maybe I'll just see if I can figure it out. And what do you know? You figure it out, and it's easy. And you go, oh, well, actually, like, because I was able to get into that mindset, my brain has sort of made this connection that now when I see something that's difficult and challenging, and I think this is what's happened to us over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
You get to a point where it's like, when I used to feel that tension, and I used to feel that horrible feeling of this is really difficult, so I'm going to just bin it off, I'm going to go on my phone, I'm going to watch some TV and sack it off. That's sort of been rewritten now with this idea of like, hang on, it's difficult. I know what that feeling feels like. It's challenging, it hurts, and I feel that inner frustration. But my brain now is saying, well, let's just lean in.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. Let's just get it done. Because that's the kind of person that you are, you know. And I think
you've prioritized yourself as well. So going in the gym is about prioritizing yourself, which is such a good practice to have of like of pushing yourself. But it is prioritizing yourself, and if you incorporate that into your lifestyle of moving your body, looking after your fitness. It is the highest form of self-love, because you're showing yourself how much you respect yourself, and how much you respect and like honor your body.
Yeah.
To the point where you put it through some challenges, because like that's what it takes to grow. You know what I mean? Like that's the growth. Growth comes from challenge and feeling uncomfortable, but then
it's really the only way that you grow. You don't grow through comfort, unfortunately.
So
you can kid yourself and think that you can, and that like you're going through life and I'm going through the motions, and I'm doing things that are a little bit challenging, and it's just not the case. And I don't feel like I can particularly talk about a lot of things with a lot of conviction, but I do feel like this is one of those things that just like, where it's like, the hard, and that's another thing, the harder you train, not in a toxic way, you don't have to go in there and lift 200 pounds if you've not, I don't certainly lift 200 pounds.
You have to lift what's challenging to you, and that will be a different weight, or that
doesn't
will be,
matter if it's 10 pounds or 100
if it's
pounds.
challenging for you, and you're feeling like you're pushing yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what matters.
And I've always found that the harder I do that, the harder I train, the more intense I train in those situations, the better I feel, the less anxious I feel. There's no, I feel like I walk around, I feel like I just like, I feel like I'm always goofy. I'm always got a chip on my shoulder. I'm always a bit like, I feel like sometimes I'll be a bit mood, I might get in a bit of a mood if like, like there's a cyber leak on my phone. All my passwords are compromised, which happened this morning, which is just fantastic. You know, but I feel like 99% of the time. I mean, I don't know if that feels true, if I'm just like totally lying
you're
there.
a very collected, like
chipper,
calm, collected person, and
as are you. You're always incredibly happy. Never, you know, like, and I think.
I mean, it's a year in the, you know, I do credit starting going the gym, but I use the gym as like, you know, it's been a year of me like working out. I've been consistent with exercise.
You have.
For the first time in my whole life for the past year.
Yeah.
And I owe, again, like I owe it, but it's like I owe myself so much for that, like.
Oh,
you
know,
know,
100%.
For doing that, because it has like. I can't like speak to the exact science of everything because I'm not a nutritionist or a personal trainer or anything like that. Like I don't know everything about it, but I know how I feel now, and I know how much it's changed me, and it's changed every day for me. And now, the question of like going to the gym that day, it's just not there because it's just I know it's in the routine now, and that feels like such an achievement. To have that,
I mean, it is such an achievement. It is such an achievement, and to keep doing it, and but that's what I mean. Right now, for you, it and for me, it feels more like why wouldn't we go?
Yeah.
What's up? What's happened?
Would I feel worse for going? And it's like, okay, yeah, rest is super important. Like rest is just as important as training.
And there will be days where where you should say to yourself, "Hang on, I've done 2-3 workout sessions. I've really pushed it. I need to just take a day where maybe I do a walk." Or I do some form of very low intensity stuff, you know, a walk or a stretch or something.
Yeah.
But generally speaking,
you'll never feel worse for it. Like,
you know, yeah. You know, my nana passed away recently. In the last 3 months of her life, when she was bedbound, and she was end of life care, she was still, my mum and Auntie Helen, they were still getting her to do leg and arm raises like this. Wow. So it was like, so she was in a bed and she couldn't move, but so she'd be like do these moves so that you just get the thing going. And it was like, from what I understand, it was like part of the routine, and it was part of like, look, like you're bed bound, you're never going to be able to jog, run, but you can do this, right? And it's like, and there's a bit of resistance there because, you know, and it's like you're getting the body moving in some form. They told her that she had a week and she lasted like 3 months. Now, I'm not saying that was because she was doing this every you know, like. No,
but it just goes to show, doesn't it? Like
the idea of like you know, there's a reason why we do those kind of things. There's a reason, you know, habitual movement and to be moving the body and to be. I think that's written into our DNA.
Like, just endorphins as well, like, you know.
Yeah.
People who exercise get endorphins. Endorphins make you happy, and people who are happy don't kill their husbands.
What?
Legally Blonde.
Oh right, okay. Foreshadowing.
Oh.
Well, you know, maybe what we should do is, because I feel like in this episode we've talked a lot about us and our specific thing. What do you think about doing like a part 1, part 2, where maybe we wrap this up here, and then maybe tomorrow or later on this week we do a shorter podcast which is about the actual specifics.
Yeah.
That's to do with like, specifically, then you might tailor your, like how we tailor our workouts and how we get into certain mindsets.
That.
What do you
like
think?
This is more an overview, but we could do a more specific episode.
Yeah.
In the future about what our actual gym sessions look like. You know what, you know. Yeah, and that one could be a bit shorter for people, and if they could then take that as like, I'm actually going to try this tomorrow. Do you know what I mean?
With a PDF and everything.
Yeah, we'll do a PDF.
Okay, great. If that suits you, should we do
good.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can finish up here though.
All right.
But yeah, thanks a lot for listening.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening. I understand that I might be coming across quite intense here, but I feel as
you're just very passionate. And
yeah.
You've got so much. You've got so much like self-will and like belief, but it's because of like the hard ground that you've had to cover to like get to where you are, you know. Like,
maybe. And
it is inspiring because you definitely have like a bit of a tough love, you know, perspective about it, which there's nothing wrong with. But
I think only when it comes to the idea of discipline, I think I'm a very soft individual.
Oh, absolutely.
I just think there, and that's another thing as well. I think that fundamentally, when you try and be soft and loose with your mind will win. I think.
That's so
And
true.
when you say like, be easy on yourself, don't worry about the situation. Hey, you've done a lot. It's like very quickly. It's like, that's not me talking. That's just my mind. To be like trying to be.
It's your
trying
mind
to get me
keeping
out.
you in it. It's almost trying to keep you in a place of comfort, isn't it? When you're like,
100%,
like
1000%.
But no.
So this is just one of those things that I just feel like I maybe talk about with people might get the wrong idea, but I've always found that talking to myself in that way, and to people like you, being that voice of like, let's do this, let's go, like that's always better than.
I mean, that's benefited me so much, so I can't knock your technique.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But yeah, so we'll come back with a part 2.
Yeah.
But let us know what you thought in any way about the pod, and let us know any questions that you might have that we could answer in part 2.
Anything at all.
And we'll see you all for the next one.
And I'd love to know if anyone does get up and decides to maybe just go and do a 10-minute run or a 10-minute workout session or some incentive to do something. So do let us know, because that'd be really nice for us to know. And thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. See you, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.